because of the fact that on a day-to-day basis, you hear of information as to how the Department of Public Service and Administration and Government of South Africa is actually dealing with corruption, something that is new in this country, and we are actually on the right path. We are confident that we will actually at some point finally and decisively deal with the corruption in government, which the present government does not actually condone. I thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Komani.
Yes. Honorable Motsepe, Deputy Speaker.
Oh, okay. We must be informed about these changes. They help to know in advance. Go ahead, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Minister, your public servants are benefiting from COVID-19 grants, and many are doing business with the very state they are working for. What are the loopholes in the public service that allow this kind of corruption to flourish? And what are you doing to close those loopholes? Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Deputy Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Honorable Member, I've actually indicated about the units that we have actually set up. I've indicated about the sections within the Public Service and Administration Act that actually helps to deal with corruption. And when it comes to public service that are, public servants that are actually doing business with government, we have been in the position using PESEL system to manage to identify public servants that are actually doing business with government. And what we are actually busy doing is consequence management to see to it that every public servant that is actually doing business with government goes through a disciplinary process so that once and for all, we can actually be in the position to manage to deal with this. That is what is one of the biggest reasons why we have wastage in government when the public servants are doing business with government. We are on track with it, we are dealing with it, and we have measures in place that manages to help us to manage to decisively deal with it. I thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Dana.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Minister, with regards to illegally gotten gains by some public servants, and specifically the planned lifestyle audits that will be conducted on state employees starting from February next year, according to the DPSA's quarterly bulletin, 42 ethics officers have been trained to carry out these lifestyle audits for more than 1.3 million state employees. That's about 31,000 lifestyle audits per ethics officer, which seems to be an impossible task and creates the impression that the DPSA is not truly serious about these audits and their outcomes. Is the department planning on appointing more ethics officers, and if so, how many and by when? And what is the timeline to finalize these lifestyle audits? Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Deputy Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. The Department of Public Service and Administration is really serious about conducting lifestyle audits. A process has been set up, and what Honorable Member is actually worried about is that there isn't enough capacity, which we are actually aware of, and which means that because this is a process that is beginning, it doesn't necessarily mean that measures that have been put in place are actually final. It means we will keep on evaluating what we've actually put in place to be sure that we will be in the position to come up with a system that manages to, in a way that is going to actually manage, deal with this situation decisively, correct the situation. So basically what it means is that we will continue to evaluate whatever system that has been put in place now, and therefore if the system that has been created now is not something that is fully capacitated, capacity will be created to ensure that we have a good system that will deal with the lifestyle audits. I thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. The next question is 392, asked by Honorable M.S. Malatsi to the Minister in the Presidency. Honorable Minister.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Good afternoon.
Good
Uh,
afternoon.
Thank you very much. Let me appreciate the question from Honorable Malatsi. In short, what I wanted to say, Honorable Deputy Speaker, is that the Department of Planning and Monitoring and Evaluation would have completed the preliminary assessment of ministers. The performance scorecards were shared with the ministers for their comments before they are submitted to the President. The DPME will submit the consolidated performance to President Cyril Ramaphosa by the end of 2021. And in this regard, the President will engage with the affected ministers and decide on the course of action for poor performance. And whatever that course will be, that is in the wisdom of the President. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Malatsi.
Thanks, House Chairperson. This is indeed a clever cop out by the Minister from what the actual question is. The reality of the matter is that the introduction of performance agreements was introduced as early as 2 years ago. So what we want to know is, based on the performance scorecards and previous assessments, can he provide at least one minister who he knows that action has been taken or they've been reprimanded for missing their performance targets? Because we are already halfway into the MSTF period for this administration. Thanks, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. The President signed performance contracts in 2021 financial year. We're saying what we have processed and what we have submitted to, we're going to submit after that. We will therefore expect the President's response to that regard. I prefer not to respond to creativity of language by Honorable Malatsi. Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Ntuli, is your chance to ask a second supplementary question.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and thank you to the Minister. The Minister elaborated and outlined. Now I don't see myself asking any further question. Thank you, Minister.
Wedges.
Deputy Speaker.
Ufuna
Mwah, mwah,
ukuthini?
mwah. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Order.
Yini le?
Parliament different do not so
On the point of order, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable members, you're out of order. I can't believe this. Honorable
Deputy Speaker.
This woman is not behaving herself as an honorable.
no. Honorable Moss, just break the order yourself. You can't just... Honorable members, you're really out of order. What is this crazy?
Order, Deputy Speaker.
No, honorable members, I'm talking, Honorable Ntlangwini. Please just hold on. Honorable members, we are in the process of ministers responding to questions that you've asked for. What interest do you have in not having this process go ahead by your disruptions? Because that's what they are. You can't be doing that, surely. In fact, I propose that we proceed and ask Honorable Komani to ask the next supplementary question.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. It's again Honorable Mutsipe.
Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. Minister, what do you say to the perception out there that the performance agreement that members of cabinet sign are just a box-ticking exercise? Mr. Mbalula has presided over a rapidly deteriorating rail network system. Mr. Kele is clueless about fighting crime. Mr. Godin has overseen the destruction of Eskom and all state-owned enterprises. What has been done to make these members account for such a spectacular destruction of public service. I thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Thanks for the members' follow-up question and highlighting the issues she has highlighted. But it doesn't change the fact that, Deputy Speaker, we said as DPME, there is a role that we play in this regard. We have given a progress report. And once we've finished that work, we've said it will be put before the president. How the president deal with the matters that the member has raised, that is the matter which will cross the bridge when we get there. Thanks, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Singh, you are next.
Thank you,
On a
Honorable.
point of order, Chair, Deputy Speaker.
What's your point of order, Honorable Member?
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I think the caliber of answers that all of these ministers are giving today really is a point of concern, Deputy Speaker. And we must raise it here. There's no interest of them of responding to any of the questions. They might as well just let the researcher given us written responses than for them to waste the whole 3 hours of the House sitting today by giving nothing.
Honorable Ntangweni, I suggest that you do that in writing and bring it to the Speaker's office so that we attend to it. Let's go to the Minister.
I'm not sure what to respond to now, Deputy Speaker, because I responded to, I think it was Honorable Matsipe.
You do want to respond to that? Go ahead, Honorable Minister. I wasn't expecting you to do that, but go ahead.
No, I'm not responding. I'm not responding, Deputy Speaker. All I could say, if you so allow me, is that
on a point of order, Deputy Speaker, no, Deputy Speaker, the minister already responded. Why are you giving a second option? Unless you are asking him to respond to my point of order, it's wrong what you are doing.
Honorable
You are
Ntangweni,
creating a wrong precedence, sir.
Honorable Ntangweni, and you keep quiet. It's the authority of the chair to decide who.
But Deputy Speaker.
Don't debate and throw words into my mouth. I'm speaking right now. Why do you assume that you have authority to do what you are doing? You're out of order. Honorable Minister, please finish the point you are making.
No, all I'm saying, Honorable Deputy
There's
Speaker,
no point.
is that
Please, man.
we will always take note of the concerns expressed regarding how we respond to questions. But in doing so, we will not at all costs try to be creative and state things that don't exist so that we can make members happy. So the point I'm making is that I am candid in my response based on the facts of the work that we're doing.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable
What's the point?
Deputy Speaker.
Honorable members, yes, Honorable Mkhalipe, what are you raising on?
Yeah, but Deputy Speaker, we can't be saying to a member we are delela. That is unparliamentary. We must withdraw it, Deputy Speaker.
There's nothing unparliamentary about that. You are getting into that space too, please.
Oh, okay, so we are delela now, man.
Honorable member, can you please, you are the deputy chief whip in the first place. You can't yourself be.
Speaker, but you can't just speak as you like to the members. We are also guided by the rules of Parliament, Deputy Speaker. If you want us to respect you, please respect us back, Deputy Speaker. Lead by example.
Member, ngikhulumisa into. Uma ungahambisani nendlela esivumelana ngayo la ngaphakathi, kusho ukuthi udelela indlu. Awamkeli ukuthi kufanele kuhanjwe kanjani. Ufuna ukuhamba ngendlela oyithandayo. Thanda wena.
Deputy Speaker, ngabe ngcono ukuthi ube speaker sase-Free State according to the list that was submitted, because we are not helping us out, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable members, can you stop this? Can you stop this? Honorable members, please, you are going to be thrown out. There's no question about it. There is no question about it. You gaan uitgegooi word. Enige tyd van nou af. Can you switch off that member?
Yes, please.
Switch off Ntombo Vuyo.
Yes.
Switch her off, please. She must go. Hamba, Sisi, Hamba. With the greatest of respect, you are really behaving as if you need to go home and have a good bath. You need to relax.
On a point of order, Deputy Speaker. On a point of order, Deputy Speaker.
No, I won't take that. I won't take that point of order from you because you are continuing in the same manner that I said we shouldn't.
It's a different point of order, sir.
No, the answer is no. The answer is no.
It's wrong what you are saying. A member must go and take a bath. It's wrong. How dare
Honorable-
you go and address on a person's hygiene? How dare you?
Officer
It's
has
wrong, Deputy Speaker. It's wrong. It's
Honorable,
wrong.
can you switch off her mic? Switch her off and get rid of her.
No, you are
Please.
wrong. You are
Yes,
wrong. Why not
yes.
go and take a bath yourself? Go and take a bath yourself.
Please take her off, please. I'm done with it. Let's proceed. I will not take any other story on this matter, please. Honorable members, the next question is 374.
No, Honorable Chair, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable, ask the last supplementary question. The minister must respond.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy
Sorry,
Speaker. I
he has
thought
not.
you had forgotten me.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Thank
go
you
ahead.
very much.
Yeah.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, it seems that today, from the responses of most of the ministers, they are kicking for touch. But having said that, Honorable Minister, corruption seemingly goes on unabated in many government departments and state-owned enterprises. Now, across all the performance agreements signed with members of Cabinet, reference is made to the requirement of establishing ethics committees to fight and prevent corruption. Are you aware of the existence of such ethics committees? And do you have in your own department such an ethics committee to fight and prevent corruption? And part B is the ability to answer questions effectively. Is that one of the criteria even for ministers in the presidency? Because today we didn't see some good examples of that. Thank you,
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Deputy.
The issue of ethics committees, to Honorable Singh, is a good practice. But which department has and which department have, I do not have those details as I'm speaking to you now. And being in this department where I am in the presidency, it's not a matter that I've interfaced with, but I would be happy if such a committee exists. But in other departments, I've seen it. It's a good practice. But having said all that, I want to state it very categorically. There's a lot of intervention this government is doing on issues of corruption. SIU work that is going on, expecting final reports in a number of areas regarding PPEs around December. The president continues to issue proclamations at all material times when information of corruption is put before him. Some people are before court. There have been liquidation or freezing of accounts in a number of areas. There's quite an amount of work that has been done in this area, Honorable Singh. If we are called upon sometime to give a full report about it, I think we're capable of doing that to demonstrate that this government, when it comes to corruption, there's a lot that is being done. Are we perfect? I wouldn't say that. There's always going to be a room for improvement. Thank you, Honorable Singh.
Honorable
the
Deputy
next-
Speaker, on a point of order.
Yes.
Sir, I did not want to get involved in that fracas that you were trying to sort out earlier, but I think there's something that I would like you to consider insofar as setting precedents is concerned in terms of the rulings. Honorable Ntlangwini raised a point of order and you made a ruling on it. But what became a complication is when you gave the minister an opportunity to respond to that point of order. If you could please go back and study that so that you can give a considered ruling to avoid a precedence moving forward about a decision by the chair having been taken, then Honorable Ntlangwini must bring her matter in writing and then asking the minister to actually respond to the issue that she had raised. It's a matter that I'm just putting to you and asking you to look at.
I'll do
Thank
that.
you.
I'll do that. Honorable members, Honorable Misha is asking question 374 from the Minister in the Presidency.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. The Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities has developed monitoring and evaluation framework and plan that identifies clear outcomes, indicators, and time-bound interventions that have to be implemented by various government departments and other stakeholders in order to ensure the achievement of the National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide targets. The department uses monitoring and evaluation plan to monitor progress made by various departments to implement the National Strategic Plan and compiles monthly progress reports for submission to the Presidency. The department currently does not have its own system in place to detect information with regards to persons convicted of rape, but relies solely on the information obtained by the state security agencies through the vetting processes that all senior civil servants are subjected to prior appointments in the public service. And reference can also be made to the National Register on Sexual Offences. I thank you, Chair.
Honorable Misha.
Deputy Speaker, may I, with your permission, take the follow-up due to connection problems?
Go ahead, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Thank you, Honourable Minister, for your response. Honourable Minister, we appreciate there are two aspects to this question, the one relating to public servants and the other relating to members who are public office bearers. And we appreciate the response that you've given for the screening concerning public officials. When it comes to persons who've been found guilty of rape who stand for public office or to be elected, we know that that's governed by the Constitution and legislation, which indicates a 12-month sentence. Clearly, however, this provision is subject to a 5-year period. So in other words, if you were convicted of rape 5 years prior to that, you can stand. Would the Honourable Minister agree that where we see a mayor who has been convicted of child rapist, that this does not send a good message to society, and that that 5-year period should be re-looked at, given the high levels of gender-based violence that we see in society, and given the monitoring mechanisms that the Minister makes use of? Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Minister.
I really cannot agree more, because the pain of the survivor lasts a lifetime, not 5 years. As long as she lives, she will remember that horrible, horrible day. So we will definitely reconsider this, because that's what survivors tell us, that it's a lifetime wound. So we cannot have one having 5 years and the other one living with the pain for a lifetime, and it's okay in a democratic South Africa. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. The second one is asked by Honourable Phiri.
Ke a leboga motlatša modulasetulo. Ka motšhabise ke manana minister. A ndzi lava ku ri xani ndzawulo ya n'wina yi na ti-program leti i ti tirhisaku ku tirhisana na ndzawulo ya dyondzo ya le hansi ku
dyondzisa vana va hina hi mhaka ya gender-based violence and femicide and toxic masculinity amongst children. Hi mhaka ya ku hi vona ti-case mchaviseki ta vana swa le swikolweni ku ti-case ta vona leti va bulana va bana ku na ti-sexual violence ka swikolweni vana va hina swi tele ngopfu. So a ni lava ku mi hlamusela ndlu leyi ku ri ti-program ta n'wina ti tshame njhani leswi mi nga ti swi tirha na va le va ndzawulo ya
nako ya
dyondzo.
e fedile mme. Minister,
Inkomu Mchaviseki. Viki ra ku hundza a ri na nhlangano na Minister wa Basic Education mutirhisani or deputy ya yena. Hi vulavula mhaka leya ya vana va violent eswikolweni na ku ri va yi teka kwini. I think we also need to go into getting the support of psychologists. But as far as working together is concerned, we had 2 days full with Minister of Basic Education and his deputy, and we are finalizing the plans of having a session with the Minister of Higher Education to the aim and the main aim and objective in both is really to work with all sides and corners to bury gender-based violence and femicide. Isungula ko askolweni ku ri va yi teka kwini vanhu lavawani. That's why we're saying hi fanele ku ri hi vulavule na lavatswari na sonto na vanhu va non-government organizations ku ri mhaka leyiwani i hela na khensa.
thank you. The third supplementary is asked by Honorable Chirwa.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Minister, the recently elected mayor of Kanaland Municipality, Jeffrey Donson, is a convicted child rapist, and his deputy is a convicted fraudster. What message does it send to the public that in 2021, convicted child rapists can be elected to positions of responsibility? Have you, as the Minister and the Presidency for Women, Youth, and Persons with Disabilities, engaged with the parties involved in Kanaland to raise your views about the election of a child rapist as a mayor? Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
You, Honorable Minister.
I think it's only fair that we get the facts and make sure that we do not reward wrongdoing. As I said earlier on, those who have survived this, they say it lasts for life. So I think we will be consulting with all those responsible and involved to make sure that that matter gets attention. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Ngobo.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Minister, in the recent local government elections, we have seen the re-election of Mr. Jeffrey Donson as the mayor of Kanaland municipality. This came after the ANC had entered into a coalition agreement with his party, ICOSA. Mr. Donson was convicted for the rape of a 15-year-old child during his tenure as a mayor in 2008. His re-election is no doubt a slap in the face of the fight against gender-based violence in South Africa. Minister, will you agree that the ANC was wrong and that it should not have assisted in re-electing Mr. Donson as a mayor given his past? Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, as I said earlier on, we, as a department, as a woman, but now that I'm sitting on this chair, as a department, I think we should get all the facts so that we are not seen to be rewarding perpetrators. Like I said, those who are survivors say it's so painful, it lasts a lifetime. So we are using this opportunity to call upon the entire South African society that we need to hold hands, and that's the only way we can bury this pandemic called gender-based violence and femicide. I thank you.
Honorable members, question 372 is asked by Honorable Tim Gweba to the Minister in the Presidency. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Indeed, in the presidency, multiple tools have been deployed to assist with the monitoring and evaluation of various programs across the different spheres of government. Examples of those tools, amongst others, is what we call integrated monitoring tools. For instance, biannual monitoring tool and local government management and improvement model to monitor progress towards achieving 7 priorities as stated in 2019. Amongst other tools is the presidential hotline, frontline service delivery model, which is commonly referred to as FSDM, capability improvement framework, commonly referred to as CIF, and state-owned entities. National Evaluation Policy Framework, which covers assessment of impact of government programs, efficiencies, and their effectiveness towards achievement of government intended outcomes and impact. The main contribution made by these monitoring tools is the generation of evidence which influences policy development and implementation, as well as informing action for improved service delivery. The data collected using the monitoring tools provide decision makers with evidence for course correction on emerging service delivery issues. For example, the monitoring of COVID vaccination hesitance. Another example is the presidential hotline. The DPME has been able, for instance, to address individual cases logged, which had a significant impact on the individual in some cases. The examples detailed above are an illustration of the benefits of applying monitoring tools and thereby enabling the availability of real-time evidence to positively influence service delivery and achievements of policy outcomes and impacts. Going forward, Honorable Deputy Speaker, the following will be done to strengthen the monitoring and reporting: modernization of the state to support innovation and productivity, including the national e-governance strategy to be implemented, full implementation of all government priorities across all sectors through the district development model in support of joined-up government and local delivery, repurposing of the presidential hotline and the resolution system in order to have greater management involvement to ensure improvement in the resolution rate of the presidential hotline, expanding the use of technology and other monitoring capacity within the public service and citizens to enhance our footprint, implementation of the SOE monitoring framework, and implementation of measures by my office to improve responsiveness to our monitoring and findings. One of the key things, Honorable Deputy Speaker, we are trying to reorganize, for instance, how we report to Parliament, how we report to Cabinet, to try to translate the technical language that is commonly used by officials to speak to the issues that society are at their lips. For instance, how does that technological report find expression on where employment is, where poverty is, where inequality is? Report in the language that is commonly understood and that is usually articulated by President during the sermon. Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Mgweba, it's your turn.
Deputy Speaker, Honorable Tlhape, I will take the follow-up question. Thanks, Minister, for alluding to the tools that you use for data collection and information gathering. Now, provided that most of the monitoring and evaluation conducted by the department tends to adopt a quantity rather than quality reporting approach, will the department improve the manner in which it conducts monitoring and evaluation to ensure proper implementation and performance? Thanks, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Tlhape, you may have been aware that Honorable Mgweba is not available. Nothing is harmful to send us a note to the table so that they pass it on to us. And if they don't, then that's a problem if you've done so. Yeah.
Deputy Speaker, I did it as and when I get into the chamber very early. Thanks.
Or it's the table that is not communicating. Hey, you guys are in trouble. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. I think Honorable Tlhape has raised a very, very fundamental question. We are working hard since one got to this job to actually respond to what she has actually said. That we go beyond what we always report during quarterly report, targets, how many scores, 20/7 or 5/10. Those issues to parliamentarians, to our people, do not say anything. But if we translate them to explain, if, for instance, we're dealing with the issue of lack of water in the valley, those scores and targets, what do they say about the water in the valley? If we're building a bridge, for instance, how far is the bridge? Is it halfway? Is it a quarter? That's the language that is understood. If we talk about employment, if the baseline was unemployment of about 34%, where is that employment now? Those are quality issues that Honorable Tlhape is speaking about. That is the issue, ma'am, we're working on now. We hope in 2022-23, we'll actually make sure that over and above those figures of 7/10 and so on, we go beyond and say, in practical terms, how is this language explained with regard to on the state of the people, the poor and so on, so that because politicians, when we go to report, we don't discuss the targets and so on. People want to know what are we doing about their grant, when are we going to put water and lines in their area, when are we going to close the potholes. They do not talk this language that technically is exchanged amongst us. So that is the question as I'm talking to you. Our teams are at work, sweating day and night. We want to find a way to talk that quality. Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. The next question is asked by Honorable Malatsi.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Minister, one of the key measurable outputs monitoring the performance of ministers and departments is the finalization of performance agreements for Director Generals. Our committee learned last week that there were 3 Director Generals who hadn't had their performance agreements finalized with their ministers, and we promised that the information would be provided to us. Can you use this opportunity to provide us with the details of those 3 Director Generals and their respective departments who have not finalized those performance agreements? Thanks, Chair.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Matlazi. Let me. Oh, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Malat, yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, in appreciating Honorable Matlatz's actually his comments.
Oh, no.
Malat.
Honorable Minister ke Malatsi.
Malatsi. Oh.
Hey.
Hey, Soli. All right. Okay. Okay, Honorable Deputy Speaker. What I want to say, I just want to say upfront, that is one area, Honorable Malatsi, we are confronted with. And it's not only that, it's a number of those issues that we're dealing with in as far as such similar issues are concerned. And I am still awaiting a report because we had asked the team to deal with those issues. How many, whether they are 3 or not, but that problem does exist. And we hope to come and report to you, but I don't have the details at the moment. But that's an existing problem.
Thank you. Honorable Kumani.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. It's Motsepe again, Deputy Speaker. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Minister, there is a generalized destruction of the public service throughout corruption and incompetence. Departments are unable to develop attainable strategic plans, and those that do are unable to implement them. You are responsible for performance monitoring. What have you found to be most important stumbling block to performance management in the public service? Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Motsepe. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Is it Honorable Motsepe? Motsepe,
Yes.
Thank you very much. There's a number of areas, Honorable Member, we've come across. One of them is what Honorable Trapp has already spoken about, numbers versus quality. The other issue is the issue of language. It's a very, very critical thing. The language needs to coincide. The other issue is a common application of what we call the science of causality. That is, how do we apply what we call the theory of change? That, if I can give you an example, if, for instance, people say they are going to build a car, when do we say a plan is in place to do so? There are key elements that we must be able to analyze and say, if you are organizing this manner, when you kick these activities into motion, they are able to create a wave, a predetermined one, from this one to that intended output or outcome or impact. That language is the language we're working hard on to actually sort out. As I'm talking to you now, our teams, for instance, we are planning for what we call NASP, the National Annual Strategic Plan, where the Cabinet Likhutla has ensured that there is a focused planning so that when the Minister of Finance start allocating resources, those resources are informed by the core plan that is composite, that is inclusive, that seeks to deal with the catalytic issues. For that to happen, departments are supposed to produce what we call APPs. We are analyzing APPs to look at the state of readiness, whether indeed the manner in which they are organized to do what they claim they are going to do is of such a nature that the theory of change is taken care of, that when they kickstart, one thing will move to the other. Some of the things we discovered that we have not been checking. Those are some of the issues. It's language, simplicity, and ensuring that we do evaluation as we do monitoring. In some other departments, you would find that.
Thank you very much, sir.
Oh,
I'm afraid.
thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Singh.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. The theory of change is something that we might need to apply in this House and in government. But having said that, Honorable Minister, you know, I was a very proud member of this committee, DPME committee in 2010, when it was founded, when we were looking at what its role and responsibility should be. And I was very proud that, you know, it was going to monitor and give us assessments of what government departments, etc., are doing. But one of the challenges that was expressed then was the issue of turf protection, where government departments were not willing to answer to a superarching department in the presidency about their performance monitoring. I want to know if this challenge still exists. Are government departments cooperating with the Department of Performance Monitoring and Evaluation in giving them proper statistics for us to be able to get the kind of report that you are talking about, Honorable Minister? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Singh. Theory of change and application in Parliament. That would be an interesting exercise. Are members applying the rules? If not, why not? Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. I think indeed what Honorable Singh is raising is not just a national government issue. It cuts across, even when I was a mayor, when I was an MEC, the weakness that undermines government at all material times to make the needle move is an attempt to work in your own silo space and not understanding that collectively with another institution, you actually are coherent, you are able to gather energy that makes better difference than you do alone. That problem, Honorable Singh, does exist, but on the current post where I am now and the current colleagues that I'm working with, I'll be very careful to make that evaluation because I'm still awaiting their responses with regard to the critiques and the reviews we are making about their annual performance plans for next year. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Deputy, thank you very much. The next, yes, 363 is asked by Honorable Mpumza of the Minister of COCTA, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. Deputy Minister Nkadimeng, apparently you are the one responding to this.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Deputy Speaker, yes, I am the one responding to it. I wonder what have I done now. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much for the question. The Municipal Finance Management Act requires that all municipalities table their draft budgets, their adopted budgets, quarter reports, annual reports, amongst other things, to ensure, one, transparency, accountability, but also to be able to account to the Auditor General and other bodies like the National Treasury on how the funds of the municipalities have been utilized. But that process prior to the adoption of the budget, remember, by law, we are compelled, as the only sphere, to talk about our budget requirements and needs to the public. So the IDP, which is the Integrated Development Plan, forces municipalities to go to the public for community participation, involving communities and seeking buy-in in municipal programs that will come. And that, in turn, gives and informs the municipal plan for the year to be undertaken, and also to make sure that the IDP take cognizance of the developmental strategies which have been formed by community development areas and strategies and other organs of the state who participate within the municipal process to ensure that the framework of what will be adopted as a budget ultimately is all-inclusive. And all this is enshrined in Act 2000 of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act. So other processes beyond the adoption of the IDP to ensure this transparency, therefore says, the municipal manager, 10 days after the end of each order, he or she must tabulate that report to council and account on how he or she has applied transparency prescripts of the law by ensuring that the communities are informed. Subsequent to taking that to council, the municipalities must therefore put it amongst other into their notice boards, onto our websites, and also tabulate them fully into council. So the department has partnered in line with many law enforcement agencies to ensure the smooth coordination of any of the wrongful doings, which are then picked up by council in these quarter reports, subsequently by the Auditor General, but also thirdly by the public participation that communities, when they pick up such activities, either on the website or anywhere else, they are able to ensure that the processes of procurement are clear, are fair, are transparent, but also ultimately there are consequences which are being faced in case of any malfeasance that might have happened. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Mpumza.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Minister, while there is legislation in place to ensure transparency and accountability in the municipal procurement systems, there has been glaring instances which point out that these pieces of legislation are not adhered to, and that the state of transparency with respect to municipal procurement has not improved. The special report of the Auditor General on financial management of government's COVID-19 initiatives raises concerns about unfairness in awarding government business and the lack of transparency to protect against corruption. What is the Deputy Minister going to do to take to task those municipalities that still do not publish their tender information or other related procurement information, such as deviation and expansions? Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Minister.
Deputy Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Member Mza, thank you very much for the question. The department, together with National Treasury, has embarked on the financial management indicators, which have already been developed, formed, circulated. They are in a form of Circular 88, circulated to all municipalities. And this circular, amongst other things, aims to align the planning, as I've spoken about the IDP earlier on, the reporting instruments, which I've spoken about them, including the community and council meetings, into prescribed set of indicators. And these indicators, subsequently for this term of local government, which has just started on the 5th of November, the minister also circulated them to all mayors and all councils. But further than them being regulations, earlier on, we have been asking only the municipal manager and the mayor to sign. In what the minister has circulated to councils now, all council members are obliged to sign such indicators that they've seen the report on what will be. The measures themselves as well are open and transparent on how you have awarded a tender, to who you have awarded the tender, the amount that the tender has been advertised and awarded for, and how much has been paid at that particular quarter when the report that is happening. This is in line, Honorable Deputy Speaker, with Section 75 of the Municipal Finance Management Act. National Treasury is a lead department on this, but the prescription and the publication and the application is done by both of us to ensure that both these procurement processes are to be enforced, and we ensure that all the procurement-related prescripts are aligned to. Subsequent to what the Auditor General has picked up, we have given measures and terms, as I have said, in this term, even though it seems of incumbency of the previous councils, all councillors are obliged to sign the report that will be sent to National Treasury, them accounting on what would have happened on those funds. And we do believe no councillor will say, I don't know what would have happened about a particular report in a particular matter. Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable Brink.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I noticed that the Deputy Minister has not mentioned the district development model once this entire session, which is interesting. But my question, Deputy Minister, given the problems that we have with procurement, and that's the question, would the Deputy Minister support the leadership taken by the City of Cape Town and other DA-led municipalities to open the bid adjudication committee of municipalities to public observation to achieve transparency? Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. I often thought English is my second language, but I do understand you have a problem. Integrated planning means collective all government. District development planning, it means one plan, one budget, one government. Integrated planning together. It's semantics, English. But there is a question that is coming subsequently after this that specifically deals with DDM, and we'll deal with it. And we will use the word DDM and we'll have one understanding. You actually are very late, City of Cape Town. the city of Rustenburg, Bujanala. You wait, chill. You wait. What has Pulukwane got to do with my answer? You wait. I'm saying you are late. Bujanala appoints, interviews, even they are all directors, including the MM in public. They do their accounting and their application of tenders in public. Chill. We all are learning from one another. It shouldn't be a point that is raised in a competitive manner. There are areas and responsibilities which other municipalities are best. Steve Chwete is best. My answer is very simple. My answer is simple. I have learned from Bujanala municipality. Cape Town has also learned from Bujanala municipality.
Honorable members.
That's why I have learned Bujanala, Rustenburg in the northwest. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, the third supplementary question is asked by Honorable H.O. Mkalipi.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Thank you very much, Deputy Minister. Deputy Minister, just yesterday, the Amatole District Municipality, one of the worst-run municipalities in the country, advertised for a position of a mayoral political advisor with remuneration of over 1.6 million, Deputy Minister. You and I can surely determine that this is meaningless position meant to reward comrades who are politically connected with the current mayor of the municipality. Deputy Minister, it is this thing that fuel lack of confidence by public in the local government. Are you going to engage with the municipality to get an indication, to get a clear answer on how did they arrive at such a high remuneration for a position such as the one for a municipality that is almost broke? Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Thank you very much, Honorable Mkalipi. The post was advertised and the post is closing as per the advert at the end of December. The remuneration as anticipated is 1 million to a bracket of 1.1 million. I'm reading this because this is a report we have sent in a form of a letter requesting the mayor of Amatole District Municipality to explain that. The Honorable Minister Menko Sazana Dlamini Zuma is on top of the issue. The advert has not yet even closed. Interviews have not even happened. We will make sure that we find the necessary mechanism on how to resolve this. By the way, Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, members may know that we, as the department, have taken a lead in developing the municipal guide, which is a handbook to guide the staff establishment for mayors and speakers and chief whips to ensure uniformity, to cap excessive use, but also to ensure that the remuneration is kept and balanced at one level. So this answer is not necessarily about Amatole, it's in line with the handbook that the minister is championing as well professionalizing local government as a sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Groenewald.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable members, I just wanted to bring to your attention that this supplementary question and its answer takes us to the end of the day. So proceed, Honorable Groenewald.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, Section 116 of the MFMA reads that the municipality must report back to council on all contracts concluded and report on the performance of such contracts to ensure transparency. Yet municipalities do not comply with the section because councils do not receive these reports. And Honourable Deputy Minister, this includes Bonjanala District Municipality as well as Rustenburg Local Municipality. The Honourable Deputy Minister then must agree that the problem with transparency is the fact that municipalities do not comply with legislation. Legislation put there to protect the public from corruption. What actions will the Deputy Minister take to ensure municipalities do comply and report to Council as per legislation, and specifically Section 116 of the MFMA? Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I did indicate, Honourable Member, that we have said in this first term, identifying all key areas that municipalities will have to respond on, which are indicators for compliance, of which Section 116 of the MFMA, which talks about the transparency, application and posting of ensuring that members or of the public are aware of the contracts that have been, if municipalities don't place them on their website, don't communicate them, one, the following has happened in a letter signed by the Honourable Minister to all municipal managers and mayors beginning in this term, that all council members are obligated to sign the report upon receipt of what would have happened on a quarterly basis. Prior that, we used to request as a department only a measure that a mayor and the municipal manager. And these were the gaps which we have identified. In this instance, we are saying it needs to go down to all. If a council of a particular municipality is made up of 30 councillors, including a mayor, all those councillors must sign that particular report. But Section 71 of the MFMA, which National Treasury is also responsible of overseeing on a month-to-month basis, is now mandatory for municipalities to submit all those reports in prep up to their quarter basis. So it will not be feasible for the municipality to not be able to meet Section 71, not meet Section 116, and subsequently escape the audit of the Auditor General, who will come and look for all those quarter reports and look for all those advertisements and go through the website to check on a quarterly basis if they have been affected in terms of what the law says. And we do believe that consequences subsequently, if all councillors sign a report that they have not received, then it will not be possible for it to happen. We will make sure that the measures are also sustainable. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, honourable members. As things would happen, the question time has finished. And therefore, we wish you well today. The House is adjourned.
Thank you.
Honourable Deputy. Not so fast, Deputy Speaker.
Point of order.
Where
You
is it
can't
in your
adjourn. Now we've left.
There are 11 orders on the order paper.
Not so fast, not so fast,
Not
colleagues.
so fast. Set, Mar.
Lalapans.
Hlala phansi, Tata. Set. There are 11 orders.
Honourable
Set.
members, all of you take
Sit
your
down.
seat, because I realize you really do want to go home. Just hang on. I may have made a mistake, which I'm being corrected. This is why the table is here in front of me. Hold on and cool your heels with the greatest of respect.
You're rushing to take the part. Sorry.
What's the next order? But this is yours. It's not mine. It's not here.
It is there.
Honorable members, please hold on. Now you have a new presiding officer. I'm going to leave you in peace. Thank you very much. This is where you are. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We'll take the part.
Order. Honorable members, we now come to the first order. The Secretary will read the first order.
Consideration of budgetary review and recommendation report of Portfolio Committee on Small Business Development.
I now recognize the Honorable the Chief Whip of the Majority Party.
Thank you very much, House Chair. House Chair, I move that this report be adopted by the House. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Whip. As has been agreed by all parties, there will be no declaration of votes on budget reports. However, I will allow parties to indicate their objections if they wish to do so.
House Chair, could you note the objection of the Democratic Alliance?
The motion is that the report be adopted. Are there any objections?
Yes, Chairperson, please note the objection of the EFF.
Noted.
And please note the objection of the EFF Plus.
Noted. Objections have been noted. The report is agreed to. Second order. The Secretary will read the second order.
Consideration of budgetary review and recommendation report of Portfolio Committee on Police on Civilian Secretariat for Police Services, annual report and performance for 2020-2021 financial year.
I now recognize the Honorable the Chief Whip of the Majority Party.
Thank you very much, House Chair. I move that the House adopt this report. Thank you.
The motion is that the report be adopted. Are there any objections?
Yeah, please note the objection of the EFF, Chairperson.
Noted. Any other objection? Thank you very much.
Philippi, you're not on house committee here.
Hey, Wena, man. Leave me alone, Wena.
The report is agreed to. The Secretary will read the third order.
Consideration of budgetary review and recommendation report of Portfolio Committee on Police on Independent Police Investigative Directorate, annual report and performance for 2020-2021 financial year.
Thank you. I now recognize the Honorable the Chief Whip.
Thank you very much, House Chair. I move that the House adopts this report. Next.
Thank you. Are there any objections to that? Are there any objections to that? No objections. Agreed to. Fourth order.
Consideration of budgetary review and recommendation report of Portfolio Committee on Police on Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority, annual report for performance for 2020-2021 financial year.
Honorable the Chief Whip, you're recognized.
I move that the report be adopted by the House. Thank you, Honorable House Chair.
Thank you. Any other objections? Any objections? No objections. Thank you. Report agreed to. The fifth order.
Consideration of budgetary review and recommendation report of Portfolio Committee on Police on 2020-2021 annual report of South African Police Service, SAPS.
I now recognize the Honorable Chief Whip.
Thank you, House Chair. I move for adoption of this report. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any objections?
Chairperson, note the objection of the EFF.
Objection noted. Otherwise agreed to. The sixth order. The Secretary will read the sixth order.
Consideration of budgetary review and recommendation report of Portfolio Committee on Environment, Forestry and Fisheries.
The Honorable the Chief Whip is recognized from the Majority Party.
Thank you very much, House Chair. I move for adoption of this report. Thank you.
Are there any objections?
House Chair, could you note the objection of the DA?
Noted. Any other objection?
House Chairperson, please note the objection of the EFF Plus.
Noted.
Of the EFF.
Noted. Agreed. Having objected, the report is agreed to. The Secretary will read the seventh order.
Consideration of budgetary review and recommendation report of Portfolio Committee on Justice and Correctional Services.
I now recognize the Honorable the Chief Whip.
Thank you very much, House Chair. I move for adoption of this report. Thank you.
Are there any objections, honorable members? No objections. Thank you.
House Chair, note the objection of the EFF.
Okay, noted, Honorable Paulson. Eighth order. The Secretary will read.
Consideration of budgetary review and recommendation report of Portfolio Committee on Justice and Correctional Services on Department of Correctional Services.
Thank you. Honorable Chief Whip of the Majority Party.
Yeah, I want to iqinise laa nto leya, of majority party. Never of majority. Levels. Thank you very much, House Chair. I move that the report be adopted. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any objections? No objections. Agreed to. The ninth order. The Secretary will read the ninth order.
Consideration of budgetary review and recommendation report of Portfolio Committee on Justice and Correctional Services on Office of the Chief Justice and Judicial Administration.
Thank you. The Chief Whip from the Honorable, the Chief Whip from the Majority Party.
Thank you very much, House Chair. House Chair, I move that the House adopts this report. Thank you.
Are there any objections? No objections. Agreed to. The Secretary will read the 10th order.
Consideration of budgetary review and recommendation report of Portfolio Committee on Human Settlements, Water and Sanitation, and the annual report of financial statements of the Department of Water and Sanitation and entities.
The Honorable, the Chief Whip from the Majority Party, you recognized.
Thank you very much, House Chair. House Chair, I move that this House adopts the report. Thank you.
Are there any objections from the House?
Please, could you objection of the Democratic Alliance, House Chair?
Honorable vessels, ladies first.
And the EFF plus, please.
Thank you.
And the EFF chairperson, please.
Okay. Thank you very much, honorable members. It is agreed to. The 11th order. The Secretary will read the last order of the day.
Consideration of budgetary review and recommendation report of Portfolio Committee on Basic Education on performance of Department of Basic Education for 2020-2021.
The Honorable, the Chief Whip of the Majority Party is recognized.
Thank you very much, House Chair. House Chair, I move that this report be adopted by the House. Thank you.
Are there any objections to that, honorable members?
Please note the objection of the Democratic Alliance, House Chair.
Noted, honorable member.
And please note the objection of the EFF plus.
Noted, honorable vessels.
House Chair, please note the objection of the EFF.
Thank you. Honorable members, having objected to that, it is agreed to I nearly said the 12th order. Honorable members, that concludes the business for the day, and the House is adjourned. I'm definitely sure. Yeah.